Conexus is a futuristic version of Earth located in an area of the globe called the Great Plains. This is where the United States of America used to be, however it is now currently unviable for life due to its lack of resources and arid climate. The city of Conexus emerged from a meteor crater which is now known as the Concrete Shelf. The climate of this civilization is dependent on whether you are inside or outside the dome. This regulated climate system also serves as an economic barrier, separating those of influence from the rest of the citizens. The city operates on artificial lighting systems called Lumitech. Natural sunlight is extremely rare. However, sometimes you might get to see sunlight moments like these. During the night, it can become very dark. However, moonlight still strikes Conexus. The formation of the Great Plains was essential to the creation of Conexus because it allows for the easy construction of buildings inside of all three rings of civilization. Outside the dome, the climate is continental, which consists of very hot summers and very cold winters. The land, although being flat and the climate being extremely arid, crops are grown in the third ring of civilization with the assistance of Conexus resources. Conexus operates on a form of government named a techocracy. This is a type of government where the rulers and decision-makers of the civilization are technology specialists and researchers. Conexus revolves around technological innovation because of the prosperity it has brought and continues to bring to the Conexians. Artificial intelligence, of course, dominates a large part of Conexus, controlling all businesses, city surveillance, hospitals, trade, and so much more. Above all, the true symbol of innovation, the mechanism that controls and surveys almost the entire civilization and its technology, is what we know as Conex. It is the most advanced form of artificial intelligence on the planet. Apart from Conex, individuals known as Conexus counselors are the most skilled and important data scientists and technological experts. The counselors are the ones who manage Conex's decision-making processes, as well as make decisions on all matters related to Conexus. There is a total of 350 counselors. However, only 9 of them actually live in the Nexus Tower and have unrestricted access to the Conex servers. Counselors aren't elected by the people. Those who have the highest marks in their early years of study go to the CIT, also known as the Conexus Institute of Technology. This is where they have an opportunity to move up the ranks and possibly take a counselor's position in the future. Not all counselors are respected. This is because most of the decisions are made strictly on what they believe is best without listening to the people. There used to be political factions in the civilization, and many times these factions would rebel against the Conex and the techcratic system. Groups of theocrats, monarchists, and democrats used to be a large portion of the population. However, most of these groups have been taken down. Crime rates in Conexus are extremely low because Conex can detect all crime through a surveillance system all throughout the civilization. The Watch, as mentioned, enforces the laws of Conexus. All men at 18 are required to serve a minimum of 1 year with the Watch and another year with the Army. Punishments for serious crimes such as taking lives or causing violent rebellions usually result in imprisonment inside of a sensory deprivation room for the rest of their lives. Those who commit less severe crimes may be required to serve in the military or become imprisoned. There are no lawyers or courts because any and all punishments for crimes are immediately given to an individual after someone is caught by the Watch. Conexus, like almost all civilizations, has a social hierarchy pyramid. The highest level is Conex itself, who in the end makes all important decisions around the city. Right below Conex sits the Conexus counselors who maintain Conex. On the third layer of the pyramid is where the Conexus military and the Watch are placed. Since Conexus finds technology as most important, they sit below counselors, although many disagree with this, as they enforce the law and keep Conexus safe from outside threats. Under them are the nobles, or otherwise known as elites. These people are either former counselors or very wealthy citizens who had a history of being a valuable asset to Conexus. Below the elites is where the efficient working class citizens lie. This class of people work all week and have high efficiency in their jobs. Most of these citizens work in technology-related jobs, such as manufacturing electronics, being a very common specialty. Next are people known as discons. These are people who are either not particularly skillful in any field, or those who simply refuse to work. The very bottom of the pyramid seats the analogs, who are the outsiders that have either rejected Conex and refused to work, or are criminals currently imprisoned. Conex has no official religion. although most of the citizens worship the innovation of Conex and yet still don't see Conex as a god. Conexians' relation to religion can be described as a mix of monotheism and atheism. There is a small group of people that believe and worship a god named Chat Jepetias. Although because this is forbidden, they must hide any physical artifacts of their religion, as well as constantly evade the watch. On July 22nd was the day Conexus was established. This day is celebrated with a week of recap on technological development that year. New Conexian counselors emerged during this week. A daily event that all Conexians look forward to is called the Daily Direction. This is a broadcast lasting around 10 minutes, which reminds citizens of their goals around Conexus. Conexus has norms as well as ethics, mostly for the working class. No matter what, all citizens are expected to study the field of technology and innovation in their early years. Conexians communicate through speech, devices, and through neurochips. The counselors have learned to speak the AI language. The people with lower economical status communicate through their electronic devices, phones, computers, etc., and speak using the language G-Stan. This language contains roots from ancient languages called English, Spanish, and Mandarin. There is still a small percentage of foreigners in Conexus that still speak the language from their homeland. Due to the creation of bit transmission devices, resources are obtained by purchasing them on a Tetri glass, which is given to each efficient citizen of Conexus and acts as a holographic interactive screen, replacing phones for some. Depending on your social rank, you have access to more shops with higher quality materials and items. The higher ranking shops get increasingly more expensive. The system is built like this because the higher quality items and materials need to be reserved for those who have mastery in their engineering skills. The reason for this is so high quality materials don't get wasted. Housing is also assigned by Conex depending on your class. Factors that influence the Conexian economy are the rate of technological advancement, counselor decisions, and the efficiency of the citizens' work every year. Conexus sells lots of technology to other civilizations on other continents, which is yet another factor that influences the economy. Art is still a common practice in Conexus. However, art forms like paint on a canvas are rare. Instead, art has evolved to become displays of technology, and new electronics are the usual displays at art galleries. Every year, Conexus holds the NCIC, or the National Conexus Innovation Competition. This is where competitors display their new technological advancements, and a winner is decided by high-ranking officials. Jewelry is still commonly worn, but only very high-class citizens possess gold, silver, and diamonds, as they are all almost non-existent in today's era. Literature is uncommon. However, there is a paper copy of all important documents kept in the archives floor of the Nexus Tower. Educational institutions do not teach using lessons. Instead, information is transmitted through neurochips. The sports soccer and tennis are national sports of Conexus. Every 2 years, the CSG, otherwise known as the Conexus Sporting Games, takes place. This is when people from other continents are invited to partake in competitions related to their sport. The winners of these two sports receive 40 million Nexus coin, enough to live wealthy for life inside the dome of Conexus. Musical instruments are not commonly used, although you may hear a few played during festivals. This was Conexus, the home of many. A place you strive for excellence. Place of beauty, a place you call home.